It just they need to just wake up, man, and
Here
start,
we go.
putting their game faces on. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. You must have heard the pre-talk because we kept going right until we were about to start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Miami Dolphins post-game show on the FinStalk Sports Network. I'm your host, Bobby FinStalk, joined always by the one and only FinStanza. You know, when he's quiet, he's loaded and ready. And of course, we're joined by the one and only, my brother, Miami Springs Golden Hawk alum, Steve Molloy of Real Talk FinStalk. It's going to be fun, at least here. It wasn't fun earlier. Yeah, here you go. Yeah. All right. Yes, guys, it was tough to watch. It was tough to watch. The Miami Dolphins dropped to 6-3 on the season, losing to the Kansas City Chiefs 21-14. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to dive into. Let me welcome everyone who's watching, whether you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, or X, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you're watching. Thank you so much. Hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to hop on and on the audio and share your thoughts, you're more than welcome. But again, Dolphins drop to 6-3 on the season, 21-14. The Dolphins offense lay a dud, and they finished with a dud to finish the game. Just enough to tease you at the end, just enough to get you a little bit of a flicker, and then pop, and it was over. It was a total dud today for the offense. Defense showed some flashes, again, held the Chiefs offense to 14 points. Credit to the Chiefs defense, which we talked about on pregame, talked about throughout the week. The Chiefs defense not to be overlooked, top 4 in the NFL for a reason. I mean, my goodness, possibly the best defense in football this season. And they showed it today against the Dolphins offense, holding them only to 14 points. Before we dive in further into the game, I'll give my take as we go on here. I want to welcome Steve Molloy, who wasn't with us for pregame. He was on pregame last night with Rob of Dolphins Thirsty on the Dolphins Thirsty YouTube page. So we'll touch on what his expectations were and what happened today. Before that, let's welcome FinStanza, who was on bandwagon, very enthusiastic about this football game. Talked about the more talent on the Dolphins than there was on the Chiefs. Dolphins traveled to Germany first. Chiefs just got there. Dolphins have more time to adjust. We got Ramsey, Holland, Xavier Howard all together. Fish Tank saying, the Dolphins receivers were way better than the corners of the Kansas City Chiefs. There was no way they would stop the offense. FinStanza, my brother, I already know what you're going to say. I heard it all. Oh, you're switching it up. Don't do that to me, FinStanza. Don't you do that to me now. Now I'm nervous. But FinStanza, all right, my man. Look, we all know how we felt before this game, the chances we all thought Miami, and I love the hat, by the way. I just noticed you're wearing a nice hat. But I want to say, brother, okay, now you've had a few hours to digest this game. What are your thoughts coming out of this game? Who's more to blame? We know we're going to touch on that with the offensive performances and all that. Just overall, quick analysis of what your thoughts is, and we'll get Steve Molloy's thoughts before we roll on.
Good evening, everyone. As you can tell, I'm very quiet today. My take of the game is that the Kansas City Chiefs, simply put, did not play a great game. During the pregame show, I said, you asked me, if it was a close game, would I be upset if the Dolphins lost? And I said, it depends on how it depends. If the Dolphins lose to a much better Kansas City Chiefs team, then I won't be upset. But if the Miami Dolphins show up and lose that football game because of mistakes that they made, then I'll be disappointed. So if you go back to the Buffalo game, that was just a shellacking and an unprepared team that got too big for its britches. The Philadelphia game, I don't want to talk about the reffing, but that game was just poor on all sides of the ball. But the offensive line, the tush push, whatever happened. Today was a game where the defense was not. If I were the Miami Dolphins right away, it was one of those games where I would have taken the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, because Patrick Mahomes, when they score first, they don't lose. They don't lose these games, and they're no longer a team that needs to score a lot of points in order to win, because their defense has shown that they've been the juggernaut of this team this year, not the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Then the defense is like hot butter with a knife, and they played very, very poorly on that first drive that put us behind the 8 ball. Then all of a sudden, you saw right away that Mike McDaniel was trying to go outside zone, was not trying to go up the middle with the running game. And I go, holy crap, he's doing it again. He's trying to get cute. He's trying to play around. The moment I saw Savon Ahmed on that field, I go, how are you doing this again? This is 3 games in a row where you put Savon Ahmed on that field when Achan's not there. He doesn't deserve to wear Achan's cleats, and you put him out there. Then they start making mistakes. The defense, the offense just didn't seem right. It just didn't seem right. The flow, it was inconsistent. It was frustrating. You had said on the pregame show, that they had to convert on third downs. It was just not happening. Then the pre-snap penalties. Teron Armstead didn't look ready to play. Durham Smythe and Alec Gingold, I told you this on the last time they played the Eagles. They are getting bullied. They're supposed to be the janitors of this offense, and they can't block for nothing. They cannot block for nothing. Part of Tyreek Hill's issue on that interception, number one, it was one of the worst play calls that I've seen Mike McDaniel call. It's
the screen
somebody threw to Tyreek Hill in the snow when Raheem Mostert was running for 7 yards a carry. I do not understand why he continues to make that play. He was playing a 4-minute offense because, shockingly enough, we won the time of possession today. And what made me more upset about the time of possession loss was the fact that we had an 8-minute drive, Mike McDaniel, and you didn't even convert points on this. You didn't even convert a field goal. My frustration with this game today is simple. And I told you this on the phone before. You have to hold me to task. You, Steve, everyone was hard on me last year. Oh, he's a rookie head coach. On that Sunday and the Charger game, you guys were hard on me. Then I said after the game in Buffalo that he may be a great head coach. And I said on the pregame show and on Bandwagon, what a great leader of men as a head coach. But man, this guy is one awful play caller when the time is tight. What angered me at this point in the game was that you finally gave the ball to Raheem Mostert, who averaged 7 yards a carry. He gets you 25 yards and 19 yards on the 31 with 2 timeouts, not 0. And you're throwing the ball 4 times. 4 times. Versus running. And you could have ran the ball twice. If you didn't get anything, you still have 2 downs and 4 in that territory. And you would have to be able to kill the clock. For me, Mike McDaniel, and I said this to you on the phone, so I'm going to give him praise. He has turned Tua Tagovailoa into a robot. And I don't want to hear about miscommunication on that play. A stand-up elite quarterback sees where Cedric Wilson is at the time he is running and throws that into the end zone. At the same time, why is he targeting in those plays in the first half? Durham Smythe, when Jalen Waddle was wide up the middle. Tyreek Hill, yes, he dropped 2 balls, but why are you going to Cedric Wilson, who hardly knows the playbook? If you're going to go to Cedric Wilson, you might as well go to Chase Claypool. Where was Braxton Berrios again today? Mike McDaniel tried to outsmart himself again, and Tua played like Ryan Tannehill or Chad Pennington for this team. When it mattered most, he couldn't prove himself. So for me, I bleed aqua and orange in my blood. We all do. What frustrated me today was not that they lost. They can lose a football game, but not since even Adam Gase did we go into the half with 0 points. Since Mike McDaniel became head coach, if we face a top 15 defense, we've lost. Our average point is a 19 points a game. Are you kidding me, Mike McDaniel? So Tua is just as much to blame as Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill on those 2 drops was too high on his britches this week. And I said he should have been playing high up, but too easy. He should have caught those 2 balls. Tua scrambled every time, like that play to Mostert on that first down with a minute 30 left. He was trying to force the ball, throw it in the end zone, throw it out of bounds, do something. But he was trying to make plays. Tua got scared. And that frustrated me. Lester Cotton was great. The defense was great. Did you hear Ramsey's name once? No, he was pissed off on one of the play calls. I saw him how angry he was on the sideline as a defender. Howard was great today. Chubb was great today. Phillips Sealer and did his job. So did Wilkins. Holland. They still struggle at tackling. I'm sorry, Pacheco and that group and Tony. They couldn't tackle these guys to save their life. But overall, it falls on the head coach. And this head coach saying he's going to have trouble sleeping on the plane, the fact that he's defending his own players. We are missing, you know what the problem is with this football team? We're missing, and I'm going to swear, this is the only time I promise I'm going to swear tonight, Bobby. We are missing an asshole. Because I don't care if you're Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, even Stephon freaking Diggs. Stephon freaking Diggs, when he was playing us in week 3, was slamming a tablet on the. When he was playing a couple weeks ago, he was slamming tablets to the ground.
Preach. Preach.
Mike Tua thought he was at a luau today. No reaction to why he won or he was going to win or lose. The team didn't care.
Look at Cap from first place to wild card.
Stacey Dales said the team did not seem flustered by a 21-0 loss. A 21-0 loss. I go, Tom Brady, there's a reason why he's won 7 Super Bowls. Because one bad thing, he's pissed. This team has no fire. They don't care if they win or lose. Mike McDaniel, when he lost the game, he ran across the field and was smiling and gave Andy Reid a hug. We beat Bill Belichick a week ago. He was spewing at the mouth. He shook his hand and walked away. I want Mike McDaniel to stop defending. I understand that's what he does. He may be a great leader of men, but when it comes to being mad, he never gets frustrated on the field. And I saw this today. I don't know if you guys saw the end of the game. Dak Prescott, he pulled this, and Mike McCarthy. They pulled a Mike McDaniel and as Tua just now. They got 2 penalties, got down the field. Dak got sacked. They rushed the play instead of versus throwing it down. They got stuck. They lost by 5. Why? Because the Eagles have learned how to win. The Bengals have learned how to win. Those are teams that you should be afraid of. The Ravens had a tough team coming in. The Dolphins basically said, we can be perfect if we play at home all 16 games. But the moment they go on the road, because I don't know if you heard this, the crowd noise affected them today. There was a lot of Chiefs fans there. The Miami Dolphins basically think that they can get away with how things are going right now. And today they tried to be too conservative. I would have given Mike McDaniel a lot more credit had he gone the way he always has gone. But he tried to overthink himself. He did this against the Chargers. He did this against the Bills twice in the snow and in the playoff game. He didn't stick to what works. And when Adaya Pacheco was only averaging 4 yards a carry, and by the way, if you look at the stats at the end, would you have not taken 3 receptions on 14 yards for Travis Kelce? Would you have not said that the Kansas City Chiefs had under 270 yards of total offense? Mike McDaniel had this game in the palm of his hand in the fourth quarter on 2 drives. He put out Savon Ahmed. He gave up on the run game. And this is exactly what he did against Buffalo in the snow. Mike McDaniel, I told you, his head is here. He's not going to talk to his players. He's already worried about the next play like it's a movie script. Take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4. And until he shows fire and starts laying it down, Tua Tagovailoa and him will be the second coming of Adam Gase on this football team. And Ryan Tannehill, because I don't care what anybody says. Tua can be an elite quarterback. He can be. But Mike McDaniel, he can be. Steve, he can be. Let me explain. Steve, Ryan Tannehill out of college, and a lot of these players out of college didn't win anything. Tua has done something. He has had comebacks. He has done something. What I'm saying is Mike McDaniel put the ball in Tua's hands in a place where if you look at the in baseball, right? Baseballs, the old school oh my God, analytics. Mike McDaniel is using his script to dictate how the game should be played. He's not watching the game and saying, wow, my running back just ran twice for 40-something yards. But let me give the ball to my quarterback on the 31-yard line for 4 consecutive plays with 2 timeouts. That, for me, Mike McDaniel is the systematic problem, because in the end he makes the play calls, not Tua. Tua has to execute them, and Tua failed at executing them in the last drive. But Mike McDaniel's play calling in that last drive is the reason why we lost this football game in the whole vacuum. Yes, overall we sucked in the first half, but in the end, when it matters, it doesn't matter how you win. The fact is, you win football games. Do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today were up with 36 seconds left, and CJ Stroud went 75 yards in 36 seconds and beat them? Why? Because it doesn't matter how you win a football game. You think the Chiefs care that they got outplayed, got outstat today? You think that Travis Kelce cares they only had 14 yards?
No.
Of course not. They won the football game. Now Miami put themselves in a place where they're not on the upper echelon. And we're going to now, although the narrative, if you want to change the narrative, Mike McDaniel says, and you have to change the narrative. You want the narrative. I'm tired of the cliches. Mike McDaniel, you called a very poor football game. 0 points. I'll put it to you this way. If Brian Flores was the coach on that last drive, we probably tied that football game because he would have ran the goddamn football. It was evident what was going on today. Mike McDaniel looking pouting after the game. That's not what I want from my head coach. I want a fired up head coach who's angry.
Let me just say very quick. I want to say this before I forget it, and I'm going to let Steve get in here very quick, Evan, is that when you were saying he's a good leader of men, I won't go that far because a leader of men will be able to call out his players. But I would say he's a good buddy coach. No, he's a buddy coach.
He's a great players coach.
Yes.
And he's a great person.
But he's not a leader. To me, a leader of men is someone who could tell the player to the face, you're messing up.
He's a great,
get it together.
He has the locker room unified because the locker room goes on Twitter like Jalen Ramsey, God bless my team. The team is unified. There's not a negativity coming out of the locker room. But Mike McDaniel today, I'm going to make a stance right now. I'm telling you this today. If the Miami Dolphins want to go anywhere the rest of this season, it's not going to be because the offense led them. It's going to be because the defense led them and that the offense complemented them. The reason I say that is the defense today had one bad drive, but after that they adjusted to what they saw from the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid, and they played. Patrick Mahomes did not take this game away from us. The Miami Dolphins basically said, we're going to call poor plays on the last drive of the first half and the last two drives of the fourth quarter. And on 3 possessions, Mike McDaniel basically said, instead of me getting anything, I'd rather get nothing.
Okay.
But the thing was, I'd rather Tua throw the ball down 50 yards and get an interception, but at least he tried. Here, false snaps, play anticipatory calls, one read, getting flustered in the pocket. It just was one of those games where I just said to myself, Tyreek Hill, Tua, Mike, you guys aren't ready for this. You're not ready for this.
I hear you. So, all right. So
they don't have ice in their. By the way, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think they care if they win or lose. That's my biggest problem. There's an apathy to me that showed today. Those last 2 drives, because you keep on putting out, it's like banging your head against the wall saying, Savon Ahmed, you're going to do it this time, buddy. In a tough game, you're going to do it, buddy. Mike McDaniel, the writing's on the wall, buddy.
All right, Steve Molloy. All right, Steve.
And I did that very calmly. You know, I didn't raise my voice once.
I know.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Man, Evan, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. I don't know how to follow that up.
I'm amazing.
He said he was. He did say he would.
I sound like you, eh?
You do.
But Mike McDaniel, come on.
No. I honestly have to agree with you about 95% of what came out of your mouth this evening. I agree with you about 95%.
Except for Tua being elite, I know that.
Well. Anyway,
I said he can be elite. He can be elite.
Since you about said everything I was going to say, I can't follow up and piggyback on that, but I will say this. Right before the game, when it was, I believe it was Reed, the defensive back for the Kansas City Chiefs, he said, the way that you stop the Miami Dolphins offense or Tyreek is you take away the run game. You take away the run game. You keep then Tyreek or Waddle, one of those guys is going to get the ball. So it's very predictable. You keep them in front of you. You don't let them go out of bounds, and you hit them hard. You get physical with them. You get physical with them at the line of scrimmage. We saw that on some of the replays where they pushed Tyreek, pushed him, getting physical with him. And that ball that Tua threw where Tyreek just missed it on the end of his hands, fingertips, that is a timing play. That is a spot throw. Tua is throwing to a spot to Tyreek, and you knock him off that spot, the timing is off, and if you noticed, a lot of balls were just missed. Waddle behind him. Cedric Wilson. Those balls were not Cedric Wilson's fault. Those 5 drops, those were Tua's fault. Not throwing the ball in the right spot. Things like that. So they told you what they were going to do. So the point I'm making is now everybody's got the blueprint, right? This is how you stop this Miami Dolphins offense. You get a Tua, you stop the run, you push the little receivers, get them off their routes, and Tua throws to the same spot. And I'll give you an example. Cedric Wilson, and Evan, I agree with you 100%. I don't care about the miscommunication, right? I don't care about that. He threw the ball in the exact spot he was supposed to throw it without even looking that Cedric Wilson was 5 yards in front of the quarterback in the end zone. He's a robot. Like you said, he is a robot out there. And if you notice when he goes scrambles, what does he do? He doesn't process the field. He doesn't scan the field. He's looking for that one spot. So I agree with you on that. I'm glad we see eye to eye on that, because now you're realizing Tua is a spot thrower and he doesn't read the defenses. Whether it's because of McDaniel's doings or his doings, he didn't read the defenses. He's not. And that's what McDaniel, and I agree with you on McDaniel. He went to frickin' Germany like if it was a Hawaiian,
vacation.
What do they call it? Vacation. Really? No fire at all, man. No fire at all. I mean, come on, man. You're playing the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl team, and you guys are laughing when it's 21-0 at halftime, and you're sitting there chumming with each other, laughing and lollygagging around? Really? And then another thing I agree with you, Evan. Okay? You're right. Mike McDaniel doesn't correct his players. You don't have to be an asshole to correct the players. But we do, in the military, what we do is what we call spot check, right? Spot critique. You critique them on the spot. It happens. You tell them about it right then and there. Then it's over with. You make that correction. Not after the game when it's over 2 weeks later. You do it on the spot. And he doesn't do that with his players. I'm sick and tired of it. And he better adjust, because we've got 8 games remaining, right? And 10-7 is not going to get you in the playoffs in this year. It's not. Okay? We've got to win at least 5 of those 8 games remaining. If we win only 4, we are not going to the playoffs, buddy. And we got the Jets twice. We got Buffalo. We got Dallas. And we got the Ravens. That's 4 right there.
I want to say very quick, Stephen, forgive me if I interrupted you.
No, you're good, man. I'm done.
I just want to say,
Evan said everything, man.
Yeah. I will say this. I will
elegantly put it in perspective.
With regards of McDaniel, and I'm
Doesn't
not
happen
saying,
very often.
I know. The rookie coach thing.
calm.
I'm not saying it's rookie coach, but
It's
he's
not rookie
young.
coaching.
He's in his second year. Hold on. He is leading the #1 offense in the NFL.
Who cares?
It cares because it's again, the team is 6-3. Let me push back. Let me just say this. And you guys know where I stand. So I'm pushing back here. Okay. The team is 6-3. Okay. I predicted 6-3 before the season, before the bye. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're being too real. You're being realistic." They were mocking me. You're being a hater. But it is what it is. Now, again, here's more of this hate talk or realistic talk before the game. Who is the one saying the Dolphins offense struggles and becomes mediocre against top 10 defenses? This guy. I said that. No, Bobby, they got too much talent. Dolphins offense has too much talent. They're there a week before. They're preparing. They're ready to go. They're all this, all that. And what did they do? They laid an egg against Buffalo. They laid an egg against the Eagles, and they laid an egg against the Chiefs now. They only scored 14 points. I said today the Dolphins offense needed to score more than 24 points if they had a chance to win this game. They could even put they could only put up 14 today. And again, I get it. It's on the coach. It's on the coach. And you say he's a great head coach. Well, if this is all what you're saying is true, then he's not. So you can't say he's a great. Hold on. Let me have the floor here.
I haven't said anything.
You were going to.
No, I was not.
He's a great head coach.
I was fixing my mouth.
He's a great head coach, but he has all these issues. Let's not say he's a great head coach yet. He's an offensive guru. Absolutely. Okay. But the fact of the matter is he still has a lot of growing to do. And he needs to be he has to be a great team leader. He has to be what Steve is saying. That's true. He has to call his guys out. He can't pat them on the back every time. Steven, I'll do it too. It was an MVP before today, and now
I want to answer Scotty.
Not an MVP. He didn't play like an MVP today.
Stop.
I'll answer those after. I'm calm. I'm going to answer those after.
My thing is, look, guys, let's stop that right now. Let's stop. Stop with that talk right there. Stop it. Take your fanboy glasses off for a second, and let's stop that. Okay? The fact of the matter is, in order to be an MVP, you have to beat those top teams. You have to show up. And Tua hasn't showed up in these 3 games.
No doubt.
You rag on McDaniel all you run, and I'm just saying, guys, I'm not coming at you. What I'm saying is, where's your MVP elite quarterback, supposedly? Where is he in these games? What is he doing? He hasn't showed up. Yeah, the numbers say MVP. The numbers, MVP. He has a touchdown today, right? So it's 19 touchdowns this year, 7 interceptions, whatever. That's very nice. Numbers are very pretty at the end of the season. But what did he do today? What did he do against the Eagles? What did he do against Buffalo? He did nothing. Okay? You have to step up. We said he has elite weapons. Steve Molloy in the comments earlier today said, I'm not worried about the Chiefs wide receivers. The fact of the matter is, Pat Mahomes brings those guys up. He makes them look way better than what they are. Tua needs great receivers in order to have a good game. But today he had Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and where were they? Cedric Wilson was the only one to score a touchdown. And we're ragging on Cedric Wilson, who actually had a touchdown, a damn good touchdown too.
That was a good throw.
Look, in regards of Mike McDaniel, I'm not as worried. He has to pick it up. This team is 6-3. He's 6-3. But Tua? Oh, he has a winning record. Oh, look at his record compared to Herbert. Oh, look at this. Look at him. He's a winning quarterback. Show me the record against winning football teams. Show me a record against top 10 defenses. This number 1 offense in the NFL is beautiful against top 30. Shit, man, they've beaten the Broncos 70-20. Top 30 defense, the lowest defense. They beat the Chargers, low-rated defense. The Panthers, woo, man, 42 points. 17 points against the Eagles. 20 points against the Buffalo Bills. And 14 points against the Chiefs. These are the teams that you're going to face in the playoffs. You're not going to face the Broncos in the playoffs. You're not going to face the Panthers in the playoffs, teams like the Panthers. You're not going to face those teams. You're going to face these teams. And you lay an egg. So I don't want to hear any more MVP talk because he can't win the big games. He doesn't show up. And talking about run, read, quarterback, all this one. And look, the fact of the matter is, how can you argue that? How can you argue when he got it to Durham Smythe for a first down right away? Check it to Durham Smythe. Jalen Waddle was wide open for the touchdown. He did not even look for Waddle. So all that, again,
Exactly.
all this talk on 2-0, he's an MVP candidate before this game. And in the numbers, yeah, okay. But is he really? That's why he won't win MVP. And that's why Tyreek Hill won't win MVP. Because when the Dolphins win football games and throw up these numbers, none of the big guys who make those votes are watching. They're beating low-end teams. They're beating people at 1 o'clock Eastern time. But when the lights are on and it's prime time, Miami doesn't show up. Tua plays like everybody criticizes him the way he does play. All those guys that come out pumping their chest. Tua's an elite quarterback. He's all of this. He's not an elite quarterback in these games. That's what he needs to be. So I don't want to talk about the Tua MVP stuff. We're 6-3. Miami's going into the bye 6-3, and it's great. Awesome. But it's going to mean nothing if they go to the playoffs and they do this. Nothing. So that's where I say, look, I'm sorry, Martina. Let me read Martina's comment here. Martina Davies in the house. Happy she's back. She was here with us this morning. Tua failed to step up today in a crucial moments, but calling him a spot thrower, it's called anticipation, moron. Ooh. The offense has been designed this way, but Tua was not an MVP player today.
Can I answer that? Can I answer that?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Anticipation. Anticipation means when Tua goes back to throw the ball, right? He's anticipating where his receiver is going to be, right? All right. If that receiver is not there, right, what is he going to do? He's going to anticipate where his second read is or his third read is. Did he do that today? Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't want to hear anything about MVP for him until he wins these type of games, until he shows up. Or even if we lose that game, but he showed up. But he has not showed up these games. And I'm done. I'm not going to be fooled anymore. Look, the Commanders, the Titans, the Raiders, those are the 3 games where I'm not concerned at all. Miami could win those games because that's what they've shown. They could beat those games. But you got the Jets twice, who defense is rising, top 10, okay? You got the Bills again. Of course, it's in Miami. You got the Cowboys. You got the Ravens. You better show up, man. You need to show up. It's 6-3. It's not the end of the world. But again, and you look at the score, and people who are just looking at score and looking at the numbers, the stat watchers, it's not that bad. We only lost by 7 points. Did you watch the game? Did you really think we had a shot? Did you not think after the first half being down 21-0 and your offense was not doing a damn thing? The number 1 offense in the NFL that bullies shitty teams could not do anything against top 10 teams? You think that team was going to come back? In what world? In what world? Let's come back to reality here. I'm done. I'm not gonna do it anymore with those type of teams. And I told Evan, hold me to it. Don't let me fall back into the trap. Not Tua bash in reality. Daniel, what did Tua do today that does not deserve praise? What do you want to praise him for?
I'm not bashing Tua. That's not what I said tonight. People are misreading what I said all night.
No, Evan, you were not bashing Tua.
I never once bashed Tua.
Okay.
I said Tua is who he is. And
he is who he is.
I said Tua can be an elite quarterback. No,
he's not a bad quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He can be a great quarterback against bad teams, but he does not show up against elite teams.
He has shown that
until he does that, I won't.
He had a comeback win against the Ravens. He's won in college. What I'm saying,
Ravens took their foot off the gas.
I don't know. When he was with Flores, he couldn't anticipate because he didn't have that kind of offensive coordinator. This new design scheme, he is now following what Mike McDaniel is telling him because Mike McDaniel basically has saved his career from Brian Flores. So he's going to do whatever his master tells him to do. What I've been saying today to everyone is that if you watch today, and I've said this even today, what I don't like about the team, there's no sense of urgency. Yeah. They're not worried about winning the big games. You want to know why? Steve Spagnuolo is on the sideline, so focused and laser focused on his defense, talking to them, engaging with them. What's Vic Fangio doing? Yes, the defense had a great game. He's taking notes on his notepad. He's talking onto his microphone very quietly to the people down there. There's no communication with his defense directly. They're all taking notes like they're in an essay, a 3-hour essay history class. It's like there's no sense of fire. I don't see a banging of the tablet if the guy had a bad play like Ken Dorsey was doing when the Bills lost to the Dolphins. No fire. What's Mike McDaniel doing? His head. And I'm like Adam Gase, who used to go sit on the bench and have a conversation with Ryan Tannehill after every drive. His face is literally in his coach's thing. Where's Frank Smith? Have you guys any of you ever seen Frank Smith? I've never seen him anywhere. He's not up in the booth. He's not on the sideline. Maybe he's in the back. I don't know where he is. Matt Nagy, even though they didn't play well today, Matt Nagy, his face is in the play calling. And where is what's Andy Reid doing? It's on his chest. Why? Because he's calling the play, but he's passing it to Matt Nagy, who's communicating. What's Mike McDaniel doing? He's talking to Tua. Mike McDaniel is focused on what his play calling is and doesn't look at the adjustment of the game. Because any moron, Martina is saying one of us is a moron, but we're not. Any moron can see.
I'm the moron.
Okay, let me ask you something. If something is working, let's say like anything, if something is working, you stick with it. If the running game is working, you stick with it. You gave it up really quickly in the first half. You saw that Raheem Mostert was flying. He scored a touchdown again today. Yes, he fumbled the ball, but he does it all the time anyways. He ran 2 great runs. You have 2 timeouts in your back pocket. You didn't even use the timeouts, Mike McDaniel. What are you doing? He left 2 timeouts in his back pocket. Put Tua drop, fumbled the snap. Was it a great snap? No, but you have to make that snap. Should Tyreek Hill have caught in the 2 balls? Yes. Should a lot of things happen today? Absolutely. But the stars of this team, the people who are expected to bring it. You want to know what the best part about Jalen Ramsey was today? You didn't hear about him. Why? He did his job. You hardly heard about Christian Wilkins today. You heard he did his job. A lot of these, Andrew Van Ginkel on the edge did his job. Every player who you don't hear about does his job. When you're talking about Tua at the end of this football game, that tells you that in the end, but in the end, it falls on the head coach. And his press conference today, post game, was one where I wanted to play a violin, and I want to do this. The worst, actually, I think it's bad. The fact that they're going into this bye is going to be one of the long, and now Hard Knocks is there. It's going to be one of the longest 2 weeks in the Dolphins' career. They're going to lose all momentum. They needed a game next week to get themselves fired up. This is going to be a long 2 weeks.
Evan, let me ask you this. And guys, first off, everybody, no matter what your thoughts are, again, it's raw reaction right after the post. Hold on. We can react to the comments in just a second, but I just want to thank everybody again. This is raw reaction.
We love everyone.
Raw emotion. I love everybody who's tuning in. Comments. Martina, Cap is in the house. Love Cap, man. Back It Up Bench Podcast. Appreciate you, brother. Everyone watching. Joseph, we appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, subscribe button. Again, we're obviously recapping. It's the Dolphins postgame show on the FinStanza Sports Network. Fins fried in Frankfurt. Dolphins dropped to 6-3 on the season after losing 14-21 on the season.
I want to get Steve fired up. Can I say something?
Then
Scotty, he can respond.
Scotty, brother. Hold on. Scotty, let me just say, man, it'll be all right.
No,
you have a week. Hold, Evan, wait. Bite your tongue for a minute. He's gonna mute his mic for me for a minute because you talk while I'm talking because that's the way he does it. Scotty, man, look, throughout midweek we'll be fine. You know how it is, brother. Everybody gets fired up after a loss, especially a loss like this. I don't think there's any excuse for this type of loss. Again,
we get fired up on a win too.
We do too, and it's what it is. We're diehard fans. So the fact of the matter is, again, we real talk, Fins talk. Rob and Steve. Rob, Steve kind of let it all out now. He'll probably be a little more calmed down. Rob will kind of talk him back up, and we'll be good. And then Evan it'll totally be like he totally forgot everything on Thursday night. He'll be all like, the Dolphins have the best. I'm just kidding.
Excuse me. Mike McDaniel, I criticized him, in week 13, week 14 last year? I was hard on him most of the year. You guys gave me crap. I'm early this year. I'm early.
Martina, no issue at all. We appreciate you for watching. We appreciate you commenting. It's all good. You let it out. We're doing the same. Have fun. We're all good. Hey, it's called the overreaction wagon. That's
absolutely.
So
and I want to say something to Martina. I understand. I mean, you can call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for dinner, Martina.
and Scotty, man, we appreciate you. All right. So look, Evan, you had one more comment. I want to go studs and duds.
I think it was Mike McDaniel said, we have to learn how to win these football games. It's tough on our development. And I said to myself at this point, we have been suffering for years. Mike McDaniel, you just became a fan of this team 2 years ago. We've been suffering for this kind of crap for my life, 36 years, as far as I can remember. Steve's been going further than that. Mike McDaniel, You know what the narrative is. That's also one thing. The narrative that got me going now, when I look back on it with Mike McDaniel, if we win, we can't beat anybody. Okay, if we lose, we can't beat any of the good teams. If we win, we're going to the Super Bowl. And you know what he answered? Who the heck cares? We care, Mike McDaniel, because San Francisco,
I agree.
the Chargers, the Bills, the Eagles, and now the Chiefs. Mike McDaniel, we're watching you. And every time the bright lights are on you, Mike McDaniel, you shit the bed. You make it seem like, oh, poor us, we need to learn to adjust. They're probably going to win every game at home this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they go undefeated at home. They look great at home. When they have to go on the road and there's crowd noise, you know how you win those football games? You run it down their throat. What does Mike McDaniel do? Oh, the first run play doesn't work. Let's try the outside. Wow, finally in the fourth quarter, let's run up the middle. It works. What? Yeah. That works again. No, let's stop it. It's too good to be true. Let's throw a slant. Let's make rash decisions. Let's throw a ball to the spot. Let's forget about Hill. Let's forget about Waddle. Where was Braxton Berrios up the middle today? Let Durham Smythe and Aaron Ingold block for me. They couldn't do that all game. Savon Ahmed, come on to the field, buddy, in your orange cleats. Lose 6 yards. No, lose 10 yards. Third and 20. How many times were we third and 27? Second and 20? The penalties. And we actually, if you look at it, we actually won the penalty battle today. We won the time of possession battle. Congratulations, Mike McDaniel. Your stats.
But what did they not do? What did they not do today?
They didn't win.
They didn't convert on third down.
No. Hey guys, let me just say this. I got to get off here. My grandkids are calling me, and I've got to go lick my wounds as well. But look, guys, when it's at the end of the day, we're still 6-3. We're still a good football team. There's still a lot of football left.
Football team.
Well, we're still a good football team, and there's still a lot of football left. And let's just I love my Miami Dolphins, win or lose. I've been a fan since 1969, and I think Mike McDaniel, our coach, I like him a lot. I think he's going to make the necessary adjustments that he needs to do. I really do. I know I'm throwing a little hopium around, but I do believe that.
I want everybody who's watching this show, who tunes in Thursday night, the bandwagon, remember this, Evan. So when he's going, I'm the most positive guy in the network. Remember this guy right here. I just want to say. Just want to say.
I'm positive about my Dolphins.
Anyway, guys. Hey,
Steve,
hey, Bobby.
Thank
Evan,
you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you all for letting me come on and let me let out my frustrations and stuff. I appreciate it. You guys are my therapy, so I appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody that's in the chat as well. Like Bobby says, this is raw reaction. You guys have some raw reaction as well. So whatever you say, whatever I say, it's because we love our football team, right? So remember, we may not agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we can agree on. We are all Dolphins, and I'll just leave it at that. See you guys later.
Brother. See you guys Tuesday night. Steve Molloy will be at Tuesday night live at 7:30 Eastern. All right. So let's go ahead and fix this. All right. There we go. So, Steve, appreciate you, brother. You guys see Steve on Real Talk Fins Talk with Dolphins Thirsty. I don't know if he'll be on tomorrow. They have their post-game show, I believe, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. But FinStanza and myself still on here. Let me make sure. Let me see if I think I.
Oh, cool. I'm not wearing anything Dolphins today.
Yep.
I was happy to change. I have two guys. Okay, I have a few guys who my kids play hockey with, their fathers. We're just standing there and we're going to ourselves. I got to get their raw reaction because they're not as intense as I am, but were they intense? Like they just have they're just saying like, why do we torture ourselves? Like it's one of those things where we go get a defensive guru, the offense sucks. Now before that we get two offense, the team can't win. Then before that, another offensive guy didn't. It's just every time we try something different. And this year we're supposed to have the combination of the two. And you know what? What was one thing you said last year that we always said throughout the year never happened? What never happened in one game, one win last year?
Complete game.
Have they played a complete game yet this year on both
No,
sides
they
of the ball?
haven't. Nope.
But let me ask you, this is not on Vic Fangio. Why? Vic Fangio is not the head coach. This is not Chris Greer. He's not the head coach. It's not on Frank Smith. It's not on Danny Crossman. It's not on anybody. It's on Mike McDaniel. You are responsible for this football team. And when it matters most, your team does not play up to the standards that are expected to win. No matter what, even if the Chiefs played a poor game today, did they get the win? The Eagles today, did they play a great game? No. The Dallas Cowboys fell at the end. Did they get the win? Yes, they did. That's what teams do. Great teams win football games when it matters the most. The Miami Dolphins so far have proven, going back to the San Francisco game, that when it matters on the bright light or against a top team, they struggle. And since Mike McDaniel got here, I don't care if he's averaging 35 points a game. Since he's got here, everyone, I can go back and read you the stats if you'd like me to, Bobby. Since he got here, going back to the first game where Xavier Howard saved us in game 1 of Mike McDaniel's career last year in New England, or was it the first game? Sorry, it was the first game in New England, 20-7. Sorry, it was 20-7 that first game. It was at home. That was 2 years ago with Flores. That first game where we won 20-7 to now, when we face a top 15 defense or better, we don't either lose or we either lose that football game or we don't score a lot of points. The most points we scored was 29 in the snow game in Buffalo. Besides that, we're putting up 20, 14, 17, 24, 21, 4. We're not winning 10. We're not winning.
Let me ask you,
games.
what's the time of possession? You said Miami won. What was the final numbers for that?
30 minutes and it was 30 minutes and a bit. So it was I'll read you the stats today quickly. First downs were equal. Running first down, rushing for so first downs we each had 11. We were 3 for 12 on third down. The Chiefs were only 3 for 10. Fourth down we were 0 for 1. Total plays 58-56, so that was close. Miami won that. Yards we had 292 to their 267. We had the equal number of drives. Yards per play was pretty equal, 5 yards to 4.8 for the Dolphins. Passing we had 175, they had 174. Rushing we had 117, they had 93. I don't know why we didn't keep going. We had 21 rushing attempts, they had 24. We had 5.6 yards a carry, they only had 3.9. We had 6 penalties for 45 yards. They had 9 for 69. We each had we had 1 turnover. They had 1 turnover. We had 30-24. They had 29 for 29-36. If you look at the stats, everything.
What was Miami's? I'm sorry. What was Miami's?
30-24. But they didn't convert on their big time of possession drive. When you look at the actual stats of the team, Tua was 21 for 34 for 193, 87 passer rating. But Mahomes was 20 for 30 for 185, but for some reason he had a 105 passer rating. It's just what he did. They averaged 3.9 yards. Raheem Mostert averaged 7.1 yards a carry. We had equal in terms of receiving, in terms of average, 9.2 to 9.3. Everything was equal. The difference is that the Kansas City Chiefs did enough in the first half to survive the second half. That's all that happened. They did, and that comes back to that one play ending the quarter, going into the half, where Mike McDaniel became conservative with these slants. He continually goes back to that slant to Tyreek Hill, and it burned him in Buffalo last year in the snow, and it burnt him again this year. It's just sad. And on those 4 plays, you know what the worst part about those 4 plays was? Not one went to Cheetah. If you're going to try to win the football game, go try to tie that football game.
Let's touch on that. I want to go over the games right now that's going on in the NFL. But before that, you just mentioned Tyreek. We went on Mike Daniel. We talked about Tua. Tyreek, the number one of our best player on the team overall.
Most receptions.
Whoop-de-doo. But what are your thoughts after today? I mean, look, let me just say that. Can I just bring this point up? Before the game, a head scratcher. I talked about Tua looking tired, looking like he was disinterested before the game. But the one thing that stood out. But another thing that stood out to me was, I forgot the sideline reporter's name, but she brought. Thank you. She brought up that She brought up
I
how
never said it wasn't a close game. I said that we blew the game. I didn't say that. I said that we blew the game.
let me just say this. I wouldn't say it was a close game. The score says it was close.
No.
It wasn't close. Hold on.
The Chiefs didn't beat us.
I want to stay on my point. I want to stay on my point. The Tyreek Hill. He said after the game about this could be a rivalry.
Oh my God.
That was the dumbest thing. The first, no, that was the second dumbest thing.
And he had a great time.
The first one was before the game when he said, he said, I'm going to score a touchdown so I could point at Andy Reid, wave at Andy Reid, and tell him you should never have traded me. You cared more about that, in my opinion, than winning the football game. It shouldn't be about proving anything. I mean, in regards to that, you should have been about winning the game. That's where your mind should be. Didn't do that. That bothered me. Carlos, thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. First time seeing you on here.
Was
Fins
open
up,
twice. You realize that if Tua catches that snap, tie game, Waddle was in the middle of the field by himself again. Do you happen to notice that?
He did coach the second half. Also, you realize. Okay. Anthony's in the house. Okay, let me just say this. McDaniel's young, still learning. I would not say he's a great coach. I would say he's a great offensive coach. He's not there yet. That's where I stand. Jay says we need Kirk Cousins. And do you think this label was going to stick with Tua and that he dominates the bad teams, but he freezes and does it? Yeah, until he does it. Yeah, he plays good, great, elite against bad teams, but when it comes time to show up against the top tier teams, against top 10 defenses, winning teams, he doesn't show up. He doesn't play. He plays like what people feared he would play. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. Tell me otherwise. And Anthony, I know Anthony's not saying that. He just says question. But my point is that's what the people who are saying, no, he shows it. No, he doesn't win. We talked about, look how many wins he has against Belichick. How many of those games did Belichick have Tom Brady as his quarterback?
One or two.
Like, show up. Show up.
But Mike McDaniel wasn't his coach. Brian Flores was his coach for two of them. By the way, FYI. Did you hear what I said?
No, what did you say?
I said the games where Tom Brady was there. I think what's his name was the I think
that's Brian what I thought, Anthony. Coach. I didn't think Brady wasn't. I didn't think Brady was on those games. I don't think Brady played when Tua played.
But all to say that in the end about Tyreek Hill, because you asked me a question, you didn't let me answer because you got distracted. Sorry. About Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill today showed that he has a tendency to be all flash, all horse and no cattle. All hat and no cattle. Meaning that he is somebody who could talk a big game, but when it comes to actually showing it in the big moments, you drop a ball that Tua dropped for you, a ball to go get, you don't jump because you don't like to jump up there. And on that play, you could not tackle Trent McDuffie. You know who Trent McDuffie is?
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie was the draft pick one of the draft picks the Chiefs got when we traded for Tyreek Hill. He's a second-year guy who you could not Cheetah, who's a built guy, even though he's a small guy. You got knocked off the ball, and then you couldn't tackle this guy out of bounds. And he had time to lateral it to go for the touchdown. All I could say is Tyreek Hill is a great player, but he did not bring his team together here in a moment where it mattered. He should have been calling his shot. He should have been saying to Mike McDaniel, throw me that football. Mike McDaniel didn't even look towards Tyreek Hill on that last drive. Can you believe that? Cheetah's on that field, and he never went to Tyreek. And by the way, I don't want to hear about Hurts and Herbert and Tua.
Carlos, but that's Carlos. First off, man, thank you for watching. Appreciate that. And I love your comment, brother.
I know, I love it.
Where he finished it. That's awesome, dude.
No,
God bless you. Fins up, man. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, Evan.
No, I personally think that Hill's a phenomenal football player. I just saw today that play was already a bust to begin with. Mike McDaniel put Tyreek Hill in a position to fail on that slant, but at the same time, Tyreek did not play a great game today. He was ordinary, and that's not what we're getting from Cheetah. But you know what the worst part is? All Tua had to do was to have one decent drive in the fourth quarter. But him and Mike McDaniel couldn't put their heads together to do it. And they were overhyped. I think they just overthought this game. I think they just didn't play it. They should have. They didn't stick to their own game. You know what the funny part was? In the Charger game last year where they lost, they didn't adjust to what they were already doing. This year, I think here he adjusted and changed his game plan very quickly. Didn't stick with what worked throughout the season and struggled.
All right. Before we get into studs and duds. Yeah, well, before we do that, let's review the games right now, okay?
We're good. We got crushed in one of them.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, the Seahawks.
All right, so obviously we know the Steelers beat the Titans. We didn't predict that one because that game happened on Thursday night. Chiefs beat the Dolphins.
No, I said he was ordinary today, Scotty. I think he's one of the best with the I said today he was ordinary.
Let's hold that comment for just a moment there, brother. Let's get through this, and then we'll get back to comments, and then we'll get to studs and duds. Dolphins lost to the Chiefs. Vikings versus the Falcons. We both said the Falcons would win. The Vikings actually pulled it off. 31-20. Josh Dobbs, man, I told people.
But he came in after concussion protocol. If he didn't come in, they weren't winning that game.
No, they weren't. Cam Akers is out for the season. He tore an ACL. They're running back.
So did Daniel Jones, by the way.
Wait, what?
Daniel Jones tore. They have figured Daniel Jones also tore his ACL.
He came back today and tore his ACL?
Yeah, he came back today.
Dude, what? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
what?
Came back. Yeah, he came back.
Oh.
Got injured. These poor Jets fans. He got injured, and they say he probably has a torn ACL.
God, oh my gosh! All right,
I think the Brian Dable experiment isn't working this year. Holy crap! Who can they go get? Maybe they want. Do they want Mike White? Skylar
all right, Chicago Bears lose to the New Orleans Saints. I think we both picked the Saints to win that game. I think so. I know
ACL. I think Cam Akers and also Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Which game did you just go over? Sorry.
I didn't know that Daniel Jones tore his ACL.
Yeah. Daniel Jones. Yeah, I saw that got posted.
So the Los Angeles Rams lay a dud.
I told you.
20-3. Matt Stafford did not play that game. Is that right?
No, he did not play.
Okay. Commanders beat the Patriots. Thank you, Commanders.
You're welcome. I told you.
Ron Rivera, that root for him. I did pick the Patriots, even though I wanted Commanders to win. Seahawks. Oh my gosh, Seahawks! What happened? 37-3 against the Ravens.
But they played in Baltimore.
I know, but damn, should have been closer than that at least.
Yeah.
39-37, Houston, Texas. I picked the Texans.
CJ Stroud broke the rookie record. 5 touchdowns, 470 yards passing. Do you know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were winning with 30? They scored the go-ahead touchdown with 36 seconds left, and then they blew it. How do you have a lead? They basically CJ Stroud went down the field with in 36 seconds.
Look, hey man, to Alex Brown and Alfred Matthews,
they got a quarterback there.
They are, yes. Congratulations.
He might be the first Ohio State quarterback to actually do something.
All right. Arizona Cardinals shot a blank today. They lost 27-0 against the Browns.
What a surprise.
No one.
Imagine they had Nick Chubb.
Hey, the Colts beat the Panthers 27-13.
Jeez.
We thought they were getting their second win. Nope. Frank Reich might be out of a job pretty quick. Raiders. Well, I picked the Raiders to win that game.
I picked the Raiders too.
30-6. They come out firing. They better enjoy their win for this week because they will lose against Miami in a couple weeks. The Eagles. Eagles beat the Cowboys 28-3. And right now,
3.
23. I'm sorry, 28-23.
It was a close game. They had a chance to win, the Cowboys.
Cincinnati Bengals are leading in the second quarter, 14-7 against Buffalo.
Oh, please win.
Carlos says it's scary to see what Tua will be in 2 years when we can't afford all these weapons.
You know what Tua proved today? Thank God we signed him to a 5th-year option.
Remember, that's what I said on the phone. Remember, I said, "Thank God we did the option, brother. Thank God we did the option." I feel bad for Daniel Jones. I did not know that. I did not.
You want to know what? They brought him back too early. But I'll tell you this right now. Like I said today, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're not happy with the way your team played, but you got the W.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. The Miami Dolphins had a chance to get the win today. They didn't win. And it wasn't because the Chiefs beat them. They beat themselves. They outsmarted themselves, and it's just sad. So it's just sad. And I tell you, in the end, ball's on the head coach. The players are on the field, but when your coach is supposed to lead you out there, and look at John Harbaugh. And I understand they're playing a lot of games at home right now, the Ravens, but he's doing Lamar Jackson. Right now, if you had to pick an MVP right now, it has to be Lamar. It's Lamar. Because which team has had sound wins in multiple weeks against top teams?
Yeah.
They beat the Lions. I understand they're at home, but they beat the Lions and they a couple weeks ago, and now they just beat the Seahawks. They're winning the conference games. We're not. But on conference games. Can they stop talking about Allen's shoulder? Who cares about Allen?
I thought he got disqualified from the game. Or did he do something that almost got him disqualified?
Who?
Josh Allen.
Just now?
Well, I read something earlier that somebody said he got a DQ, or that he was about to get a DQ.
No.
All right, so I'm sorry. Let's read some of these comments real quick. We're getting the studs and duds right now. Guys, again, man, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. We appreciate everybody coming in here. I see some new people in here. That is awesome. JT in the house. Jay. Carlos, man, it's first time seeing you, brother. Thank you. I hope you subscribe, and all you guys subscribe. Great to see you guys again. Cap, as always, everyone watching. Miami has the greatest football team. They piss me off from goal to goal that no one's ever seen. I love it.
For me, I actually during the game, I only got upset when they couldn't make some basic tackles. But every time I saw orange cleats on the field, behind in the backfield, I go, "Oh, Mike McDaniel, what the heck?" Like, I don't care. I don't care what anybody says right now. If I had to give up one of our linemen, if I had to take out Toronto right now, Devon Achane is a more valuable weapon to us than Teron Armstead.
Oh yeah,
because Mike McDaniel will use Devon Achane. Like, I'll put it to you this way: if Devon Achane played today on that last drive, would have kept running the football. He would have been forced to go to Devon Achane. And we can't tackle on first contact. It's absolutely unbelievable.
So let's talk about studs and duds.
Jay Fiedler. It's pretty easy.
Well, Jay Fiedler, my man. At least he won a playoff game. Evan, who are your top three studs and duds for today's game?
Top three studs. Studs. Bradley Chubb continues to as advertised.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's on mine as well.
X played a great game. No targets towards him. And I'm going to give it to Jalen Ramsey only because no one got to him. Like, he didn't have to face a defender. He did his job. He kept everyone at bay. And Travis, and with him and Kohu in that group, they did a great job. Like, I'm just going to give it to the key defenders. The studs of this team are really simple. They are Tua, Tyreek.
Duds, yeah.
I said Tua, Tyreek.
Yep.
And the number one dud is Mike McDaniel. The guy
100%.
called another awful football game. And I told you this last year. I'd rather him design the plays, but let Frank Smith do the call in the plays.
I can't
too
wait, Carlos.
Distracted.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. So they beat the. You know what the worst part about this is that they beat the Raiders. Who cares? Who cares? It's a W. A win is a win, but it doesn't tell you anything.
I know what you're saying.
Let
Let me just say this. So my studs for the game, and again, first off, duds. I'll just go with duds because I absolutely agree with you.
And by the way, this hurts me more. By the way, before you go, this loss, I'm calmer than the Eagles and the Bills, but this loss is more. It hurt? It stings
it means
more.
It hurt more.
It stings more because they had a chance to win this.
Well, again, who it was against. You're going against the top dog. You're going against the Super Bowl champion. You're going against the AFC champion, the leader in the AFC. This was your day. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And the Dolphins did not do that today. Okay.
When they could have.
Sure. But they didn't show up. The duds are easy. I'm with you 100%. I agree with you in every single one. Tyreek Hill, too overhyped, wasn't looking to win. He wanted to make a statement game. He laid a dud. He didn't have a statement game. Tua did not show up. Did not play well at all. The snap was on him. He threw some duds in the air. I mean, he missed Jalen Waddle. Jay says he missed Cedric Wilson in the end zone. When he had Cedric Wilson, he did score a touchdown with Cedric Wilson. Those two are duds for sure. And then McDaniel, he called a dud of a game. The Tyreek fumble, I put on McDaniel. That was a boneheaded decision, a boneheaded play call, and you put your player in a bad position. I know you trust his speed, but at that point in the game, in that part of the field, on that down, was not the right call. That's what I'm going to say. Zach Sealer, I give him a stud. I think he was a stud today. Every time it looked like Mahomes dropped back, Sealer was right there. I'm already saying, Scotty, you know what I mean? He does it. Bradley Chubb.
Who cares?
Bradley Chubb. He was there. He is this season. As much as hate he got last year from some Dolphin fans for being traded and signing the contract.
Thirsty.
He has really started earning his keep here, earning that draft pick, earning that contract, a sack, a forced fumble today. Got to give him. And then you know what? I'm going to give one person on offense a stud, and I'm going to give that to Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert was a stud today. He started off slow, but he started getting those chunk yards. He scored a touchdown. Whoa, what's up? We got beef? What's up?
The fumble?
The punch out, yeah, but whatever.
Imagine that would have turned over.
I know, but still, no.
Shame
I'm giving it to Raheem.
I'm giving it to Raheem.
Giving it to Raheem because you just said as well that if we kept running that football, we should have kept running the ball with Raheem because he was getting the job done.
But he's not
I know that, but he's the only thing we got because that's all we had because the Dolphins did not want to trade for a bell cow. They didn't want to go after Derrick Henry. They wanted to keep Raheem, even though we're getting H-in back. Let's hope Raheem remains healthy when H-in comes back. But those are my studs and duds for today's game. And I was going to say, you know what? And this
what about Jake Bailey? The guy
he hit a goal. He hit the end zone there.
Jumbotron.
So, look, let me give some final thoughts.
Can I just give one comparison? You know what this felt like?
What?
This game, this loss was almost as pathetic as the main event of Crown Jewel, the ending of the main event, the Crown Jewel, how that ended. So, can you tell me?
Hold on.
Is he ever going to win a match clean? Is the man ever going to win a match clean?
Wait. So, as you know, Alex Brown, our host for No Holds Barred, he's been on hiatus, which is cool. Alfred hasn't been able to do it, so I said, "Hey, we're gonna start up No Holds Barred. I probably gonna have to talk myself into doing it." You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
I could do it after back.
Yeah, I think let's get it. Let's work it out. We're gonna have No Holds Barred on Friday this week or whatever day. We'll figure it out, and so we get that show back rolling.
Awful.
Anyway, let me just say this. Love the comparison, by the way. I want to be honest with you. And forgive me, guys, for saying we're talking just very quick. I promise. Wrestling very quick. I don't give a damn about that. I understand that story. I did not expect
So
LA Knight to win. Hold on. You know which one got me rolled my eyes? Seth Rollins winning. That title is, they said that title was going to be defended everywhere. Anybody could win it, blah, blah, blah. They had a great match, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre should have won that match, and that title should be the one you're changing hand and having those. Because if the story is for Reigns to drop that belt at WrestleMania or whatever, I get that storyline. I get it. It doesn't bother me. I mean, yes, it should be a clean, right? Got to have one clean one. I mean, make it believable. But the Rollins one was the one where I kind of went, come on, dude. You had a Shinsuke Nakamura could have won that one, and everybody would have happened. Drew McIntyre would have won that. It would have been great. But you didn't do that. So you have to have one of these guys drop their belt. Anyway, okay. End of discussion. Could save it for no holds barred. Miami Dolphins, despite everything today, and it sucks because against top 5, top 10 defenses, offenses, my top winning teams, Miami has dropped the game, has laid a dud. They lost today 21-14. They've lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Bills. They lost to the games that you want to see them win. But the fact of the matter is, no matter that or not, the Dolphins are still 6-3. Right now, currently, until something goes over the Buffalo game, we don't know. The Dolphins are the number 1 team in the AFC East. Okay? They got the Raiders coming up after the bye. They're going to go into the bye. They're going to get healthier, which is very important. Let's hope that, I mean, it looks like Robert Jones could be done for a while. He was crying there. It sucks. It is what it is. Let's hope we get Robert Hunt back. Let's hope that we got, we get some help at the left guard spot. Either way, our offense will be healthier. They should get a boost in that Raiders game. Hopefully they don't lay an egg there, but we don't foresee that. But as Evan would say, Evan's words, not mine. Who cares? But if they go into the bye at 6-3, they could come out of the week 11 7-3, going against the New York Football Jets, and I think that's in Miami, or is that in New York?
No, Black Friday, MetLife Takeover.
Ooh, so that game, that's going to be another tough game. That's a divisional game. That's in New York. That's prime time, Friday night. Miami, again, struggles on prime time. They struggle against top defenses. It would be very nice to see them come out with a W there, and they could go 8-3, but we'll see. Eric, great to see you, my man. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, we talked about it, brother. We talked about it. So I'm just saying the bright side after all the talk. We are 6-3. Miami could have a chance to go 7-3 after the bye with a win against the Raiders and going against the Friday night on after Thanksgiving. They have struggled against winning teams. Another thing we touched on, Eric. All great points to everything. Eric is right with us. Eric probably is just tuning in and he's saying everything we just talked about. But guys, want to thank you all for watching. We all had a lot to say. Appreciate everybody's comments, opinions, coming back at us. We love that. We have fun. We appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in and joining us on these conversations and post game on all our shows. Catch me again tomorrow night on East 10th Street Boys at 9:00 Eastern time with Alex Atiachiska, who will give his take on today's game. We'll also talk on the Miami Heat and just talking life in general.
Can you talk about the stupid play-in tournament in the middle of the 5 games into the season?
We're going to touch on all of that.
How dumb is that play-in season? Oh my God.
You could catch FinStanza again on the bandwagon. We get more of his wonderful takes and 20-minute tirades with Fish Tank. And then, of course, before that, you can catch Real Talk, Fit Talk with Steve Molloy and Dolphins Thirsty on Tuesday night at 7:30. Oh, Allen just threw an interception. Beautiful. I'm going to go watch that game. Finstanza and I thank you. Guys, remember, please, if you're new to the channel, like, and let me make sure I find this here, subscribe.
Right.
Most importantly,
frauds up, buddy. Frauds up.
Oh, fins up, man. Fins up, guys. We'll see you guys later.